Hey everybody, how you doing today? I have a topic I want to go over about a comment on one of my older videos, which is why leaving a narcissist is hard to do. And this comment was a good discussion, and I want to bring this up. It comes from The Hill, and The Hill says the thing is that narcissists are so good at gaslighting, it puts me at a huge disadvantage. And I cannot think right. And so the thing on that is, these people have a unique ability to screw with your head. They like get past all your defenses, and this is such a common way to basically feel. So I do not feel at fault in any other relationship I have had or with any other friend I have now. It is just this one relationship that puts me here, so I will never see the truth. I think I have seen the truth, but then she doesn't say I bet, and then I go back. I hate this. So here's the thing. These people screw with your head. The gaslighting that this person was talking about is absolutely real, and it totally makes it really complicated for you to see the truth. And the problem is they do it in such a unique and manipulative way. And what I mean by that, and anyone who's going through this can relate to this, is that when you go through this, they don't come and say, I'm going to destroy you. They don't do that. They're very casual about it. Why are you so concerned? Why are you acting that way? All I said was this, that, or the other, and you're getting all upset. And then they make you think, oh wow, yeah, I'm blowing this out of proportion. Maybe you have a problem, that type of thing. And then you just get caught up in that, and there's no closure. So when you get to the point where you're discarded, and a normal, like this person was talking about, where they say, it is just with this one relationship that puts me here. I've had, I do not feel at fault in any other relationship I have had. Well, that's because you probably had closure in those other relationships. You had conversations with people, and you guys were able to break it off in a mature, emotionally mature way. These people run you through the ringer, and then basically when they're done with you, they just cast you aside, and you're left questioning your own effing reality. And that in and of itself, even if they do that and they walk away one day, it's like everything is, the trauma bonding and everything is going on, and you're wrapped into this relationship, and then one day it's just over. One day it's just like, you turn around and boom, it's gone. It's like, who are you? What was that one song, a person I used to know? And it's kind of like that. And you're left like, wait a minute, what the hell happened? You just had this whirlwind relationship, either short-term or long-term. And then one day it's over. And it's not like there was any closure. It was just 1,000%, 1,000%, 1,000%, and then zero. All of a sudden it was just zero. And you're like, what? Now, the sad part about it, to pull this back up, when the person talks about, I think I have seen the truth, and then I go back. Well, that's basically happens whenever they do the Hoover. And what happens is they come back, they enter your life again, and they start to do a little bit of that love bombing, a little bit of that behavior that happened at the beginning of the relationship that sucked you in. So then you think, oh, okay, well, this is the real relationship. The other stuff was just, it was bad timing. It was out of context. It was excuse. And then you get pulled back in. and I think most of us go through this stage. I don't know what in this particular person's situation, how much time has gone by, but what my guess is looking at this is it's early. This is for you to be in this mode, you're probably within the first year of this. And depending on what happens, what stage you're at, I mean, like, have you been completely discarded? Have you only been going through a silent treatment? What exactly are the details? But the way I read this from Hill, more than likely they're early into this process and they're just at a loss. They're like, what the F is going on? It's like, holy crap, I'm living in the twilight zone. And that is not a good place to be. Okay. So what do you do with this? And I like a knucklehead forgot to open up my my website. So let me try to do that real quick. That would have made more sense if I would have done it early, but why do that? Why do that when you can forget to do that and not? So, and I'm sure when I pull this up it'll start playing. And what I want to bring up is this. If you go to my main YouTube page, youtube.com/dadsurvivingdivorce. When you scroll down, the first one is just the uploads. It's just a list of all the current uploads. But the first playlist is Mindset for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery. This is the key part to help, right? If you have kids, hybrid no contact is super important. And I would encourage you to look at that. If you don't have kids, just start at the second video, absolute thinking, roll that into black hole thinking, and then just go through all these videos. In love with delusion, reach out, don't reach out to the ex, prevent getting sucked back in. Beware of the nice, 7 steps to remain calm, fear tactics used by the narc. You're not going crazy, and so on and so forth. And those all videos kind of feed in on each other to help you out. And then what I would also encourage you to look at, if you go to my website, which is not pulling up, but there it is, dadsurvivingdivorce.com. Join the newsletter when you pop up over there. But the tab I'm going to is this resource tab. So click over to that if this isn't okay. Check these things out. Get this book, Rebuilding When Your Relationship Ends by Bruce Fisher and Robert Alberti. Very helpful for me. It gave me a lot of insight into my own situation. And the next thing that was incredibly helpful for me is this hypnosis downloads from Uncommon Knowledge. And this pack, end of relationship pack, helped me out. Now, I just want to say, or I just want to throw out there that prior to this experience, I thought hypnosis was a load of crap. I thought therapy was a load of crap. It was not something that I was really interested in looking into. I thought it was witch doctor stuff. But what I will tell you is that when I was struggling on this and questioning myself, and basically at that comment where Hill is saying, I hate this, I knew that I needed a little bit more help to be able to break through this. My trauma therapist was phenomenal. That book that I mentioned before, let me see if I can pull that back up. This hypnosis download book, incredibly helpful. When things were really spiraling out of control, these hypnosis files were incredibly helpful. I felt weird needing that. Don't get me wrong. It was tough. And I wasn't really thrilled about it. But I mean, the reality is this stuff is not easy. It's hard to go through. It's one of those things where you feel like you're beating your head against the wall and you're not making any progress. Now, the thing is it like what this person's saying this is incredibly typical. What this person is going through is what I went through, which is probably what you're going through. If you're in the beginning part of this, you're probably experiencing this right now, And if you've been going through this for a while, you can probably absolutely relate to everything that this person is saying. And like, yep, I remember that time, you know? I mean, when I do, I can look at this and go, I remember that time. I remember being gaslit and questioning my reality. Whenever the ex would throw something out there, some other word salad, and be like, I'm just like, what? What am I, I remember asking people, am I losing my mind? Is this person correct in what they're saying? And am I just like in a fantasy land that I don't see reality? Very common. This is incredibly common. Now the key thing on this is just make sure that you go easy on yourself, slow yourself down. You try to get yourself grounded back in the moment that you're, that's the immediate moment. I don't mean the immediate moment like focusing on the trauma that's going on, but just like, okay, I'm here now. I'm in my room right now. I'm breathing. I am okay right now. Even though I don't feel okay, but just kind of get yourself back in the moment. And there's a bunch of different techniques that you can use to help you with that. And the key on it is really just slowing yourself down. Now, what I'll tell you is, and I know I've said this before, I spend a significant amount of time listening to meditation music nowadays. Never in a million years would have thought that would have been something that I would be doing. But here it is. This is what I do. I'll tell you, when this video is done and I go crawl myself into bed, more than likely I'm going to take my phone, find some, 10-hour YouTube video that's just music, not music, but just that meditation background music, and I'm going to put it out there. And it's like, for me, the way my brain works is it like gives me like an anchor that my brain can sink into and listen to. And since it's not anger rock music, or it's, not breakup music, or it's not something that gets your nerves going, it helps me calm down. It helps me slow my breathing down. And all of this stuff, even nowadays, I like being calm. I like my peace. Don't mess with my peace. That's kind of the way I am today, is all this crap that's going on, I want it the heck out of my life. And I want to get to as much of a stable, peaceful mindset and situation as I possibly can, so that I don't have to deal with this. Not that I don't have to deal with it, so that it doesn't affect me, right? So that I'm not sitting here all amped up and stressed. I mean, it gets me stressed nowadays when I talk to people who are like, blah, everything's out of control, and oh my God, this happened, and then that happened, and then, and then this. Oh, sorry about that. And then, it's like, oh my God, take a breath. Anyways, to really just kind of roll this back in, the thing is that what this person is dealing with is very common. I'll just go through this again. The thing is that narcissists are so good at gaslighting, it puts you at a huge disadvantage, and you cannot think right. When that's happening, you're questioning what the reality is, because they're looking at you. They're doing this. They're looking at you going, why are you feeling this way? Everything is fine. Why are you concerned about finding your peace? Because it's peaceful right now. You don't feel peace? Why don't you feel peace? Because it's so peaceful. And you're just going like, what am I at? Like I mentioned before, it's like, oh my God, this is the freaking Twilight Zone. Then you go back in and like what this person is saying, I do not feel at fault in any other relationship. In other words, you haven't had this experience any other time. If you've had other relationships, you're like, I've had relationships before. I've never had anything like this. I've never had anything affect me like this. And that I think is this is very common too, that people go through. They'll be like, holy crap, I've been in relationships before. Hell, maybe they were even in a marriage before, and now they're in this toxic one, and they're like, oh my God, what the F happened? All of this is so common. If you're going through this, again, slow yourself down. Stop beating yourself up. Look at the other stuff I was talking about on the channel with these resources, and then back on the YouTube channel, looking at this mindset for narcissistic abuse recovery. It really helps you. It can really help you. I mean, so on that, I just want to turn around and say thank you to all the channel members that help keep this site going. Without your help, this would not be possible. So hang in there, guys. Life does get better. Don't let them destroy your life. And I will catch you on the next one.